Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. All right. Jennifer, it is so nice to have you with us today. I cannot wait to learn with you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm really excited to be here. I even wore my Sisu t-shirt for you.
I love it. I love it. And we can see it. We can totally see it. I really want to know more about this. So your journey from Sointula to the business world is rooted in this. And I wanted you to share this concept with it, how it's kind of shaped your career, your approach. Fill us in.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yes, I grew up in a very small Finnish fishing village called Sointula, pronounced Sointila, off the
Okay.
northern coast of Vancouver Island. So I know that you're in California, so just up the coast. Sisu really means this idea of hardship and perseverance and resilience, and really all of the qualities deeply tied to this concept of Sisu. And that's really what Sointula embodies. So in the early 1900s, without getting into a history lesson, I'm sure you can go and ask ChatGPT this, but the Finnish immigrants were led by a man called Matti Kurikka, who came to Sointula, again, Vancouver Island, British Columbia in Canada. And he arrived with this dream to build this Finnish utopian socialist community. However, they faced some very severe challenges, some economic hardships, isolation, and a devastating fire in 1903. But many people stayed, and my relatives chose to stay. So my great grandparents were one of the first colonizers from Finland in this small town, and they helped really build and maintain Soitila, really refusing to give up despite the difficulties. And that's really part of the backbone of community, working in fishing and logging and boat building, ensuring that Soitila not only thrived, really grew over the years. My great grandfather, Laurie Jarvis, even invented the gillnet fishing drum, which revolutionized the commercial fishing industry, which was really cool. And that entrepreneurial spirit, problem solving, really runs deep. And I really believe it played a role in shaping my career path. So Sisu, no direct translation, but we say grit, determination, perseverance, resilience, all of those words. And I grew up hearing the word often, but I don't think I really grasped its meaning until I left home in 1995. Now I'm aging myself here, Michelle, and started the university. Very difficult decision. It was expensive. It was uncertain, but I just knew I wanted, and I needed more. So I left the small town, went to the big old city of Victoria. So at the bottom end of Vancouver Island, and I graduated with a business degree in entrepreneurship. And then started working as a business analyst for a consulting firm. And I would say when software wasn't cool, supporting implementation and training. And if you ever remember Bugzilla, I always joke that's where you would track bugs with. And I was a QC analyst. Anyway, and then morphed into I had the sheer privilege of working with some amazing companies such as 1-800 Got Junk, when we went from 30 franchises to 300 and became the world's largest junk removal company. I built their franchise partner training and operations manager training. I then was able to go to the Olympics, and I built one of the 5 training programs for the Olympics that was like delivered to 35,000 people, Michelle. I can't believe it. Like completely career defining. And then I got to work for some Fortune 100 and 50 or Fortune 50 and 100 companies. At that time, I think it was only Fortune 100. So I've been to the Intuit campus down by you where you are, Visa, Whirlpool head offices, and training. And so I fell into learning and development and training. So anyway, so that was really neat. But the past 25 years has been anything but straightforward. And I've navigated multiple recessions, corporate layoffs, roles like the Olympics that had a fixed end date. And then everything took a turn when I moved back to Vancouver Island. So I was in Vancouver for many years, and my career took a hit. I left a high paying job working at Hootsuite, famous software company, where I was training enterprise sales teams, and remote work in 2015 wasn't an option. And I took various jobs that didn't really align with me, like financial institutions, educational institutions. I worked at a co-working space for $17 an hour. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've left the city. What am I going to do? I have a house with a mortgage. And yes, I have an ocean view similar to my hometown. What the heck was I going to do? And I had faced a few personal challenges. My best friend passed away from cancer. Father died at 59 suddenly, and I got divorced. So facing adversity and hardship weren't foreign to me. But it wasn't until 3 years ago I faced the biggest professional challenge. And I left a job to go to my dream job. And after 5 weeks, Michelle, I was told I wasn't a fit in a 5-minute Zoom meeting. So as you can imagine, I was devastated and I questioned everything, my decisions, my abilities, my future, my worth. What am I going to do? But I had a choice. And that's really when this t-shirt came into play. I had gotten it at the museum and I really remembered Sisu. Yeah. Now's not the time to give up. Now it's the time to embrace everything that was passed down through the generations of what my great grandparents and my grandmother did. So I took a leap of faith. And I started my own consulting company focusing on operations consulting, digital adoption, and Hufnagel Consulting was born 3 years ago. And what a ride it's been. So,
That is absolutely incredible. And I want to hear a little bit more about your AI journey. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
100%. So I started off in software training as a business analyst and I fell into e-learning in the early days. And so I had really gone through most of my career as a learning and development specialist in software. But my AI journey was in January 2023. ChatGPT had just came out and it almost started by accident. I was developing an HR workshop and found myself tapped out when it came to learning activities. I think HR and safety are two of the least sexy things to build training around. And then I thought, you know what? I had heard of this tool, so I downloaded it and thought, I'm going to turn to this chat GPT. I didn't know anything about prompting. And I just thought, I'm just going to tell it what I need. I'm a learning and development specialist. I need help creating learning activities. I have 3 learning outcomes. Can you generate 3 activities for each? And ensure that you follow adult best practices and blooms. I said something along those lines. And within seconds, ChatGPT produced like 9 unique, high quality learning activities. And my first reaction was, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then my second reaction was, holy bleep and bleep. This is coming from my job. This is doing what I get paid to do by my clients. So that was like, oh, what am I going to do next? But it really deepened my curiosity. So I was then invited to join an AI Mastermind group, a global group led by Moses Ma, brilliant man from California. And I became a certified AI Future Lab trainer. And Moses really brought and instilled in us some of those core values of community and service and impact. And he talked about the ikigai is your purpose, which is really neat. And he shared stats like from the World Economic Forum predicting that 85 million jobs are going to be gone by 2025, which is this year today. And if businesses weren't prepared, we're facing a crisis bigger than the pandemic. So we're in this changing time. And I thought, you know what? It just reignited this mission to help businesses adapt, to support the community, to pick up my heels and shoes and be like, okay, like this is a challenging time. Let's just forge forward. And now's not a time to put your head in the sand. I imagine, not, I was going to say octopuses, but not, what are those things that put heads in sand? It's not a time to do that. It was really interesting because during COVID, I was working for a technology association and we were we were working with tech startups and we were approached to create a program to help non-businesses or non-technical businesses get digital. We didn't know what that looked like. My director and I at the time co-created this program called DER3, which scaled to all of British Columbia, which was really cool and impacted thousands of businesses. And we helped businesses get digital. Butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, whether it was a Facebook page, whether it was website development, we matched them with digital service providers. So neat. And that actually spurred multiple other funding programs in Canada and in British Columbia. And I'm seeing now with AI adoption, and we can get into that as well, what I saw then, businesses lacked like systems, inefficiencies and workflows. They were working on in their business, not on their business. So I was like, I'm going to double down and help businesses get prepared for what's ahead. I don't know what's coming with AI. I know that I can help and from a training and learning perspective, have that operations background. So let's continue down the path of what I was already doing. And then I started designing AI training workshops in early 2020. And since then, I've been leading AI training on the island, whether it's online training, monthly sessions that I do, customized sessions in person, speaking at different events, economic development events, women's conferences, local chambers of commerce. And last week, I was able to present for the second time at Empower Women Canada. And I had an AI workshop for 75 jam packed minutes, Michelle, that had 50 people in it. And that doesn't seem big, but we were bringing chairs from other rooms and it was standing room only. And the amount of women in that room and the energy was incredible. And the level of digital adoption was still so low. And the amount of, we both know Anne Murphy, and she calls it the parlor tricks. I call them the dog and pony show. And the use cases that you go through, and it can do that. It can do that. Oh my gosh, it was just incredible. So, what started as a simple tool, building an HR workshop, has really become this mission to help businesses and entrepreneurs and communities really cultivate that mindset, confidence, and to encourage them to really start safely. Let's talk about safety first. And we won't talk about safety. That's probably a whole other podcast, but
That's
to
a
start
whole other
explore
episode,
a
right?
whole dollar episode that's not in my wheelhouse, but still safely exploring tools like ChatGPT now, a bit about the journey.
But I love that you bring up the energy that's in the room because I have found that time and time again that when you bring people together to have these conversations, that the energy is just absolutely tangible. And I'm wondering, what are some of the key takeaways that you want people to walk away with after they have that session with you, where there is that energy, but what takeaways do you want them to have?
100%. The most popular workshop is a basic workshop, ChatGPT Enhancing Professional Effectiveness, where we talk about awareness, that AI intuition, and really that mindset set development. And I was at a networking event last night, and one of the women had said, I need to do this. Can AI do it? And I said, that is the exact question you need to be asking yourself. Can AI help with this? And the answer is, I think so. Maybe. Let's go try. So it's bringing that, starting small and experimenting and looking at your existing tasks. And I'd say, I call them those vampire sucker tasks of, can it create your next communication, your next social media plan, your next corporate event? Start small, one task at a time, and that you're not late. The best time to plant a tree, what do they say? The best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. The next best time is today. You're not late. So just start now and focus on quality inputs, really crafting prompts. I know some people are like, the prompt is done and we don't need prompts. And the large language model can create it for you. But I really feel understanding the basics and those building blocks are really important. And then bringing fun back in. One of my most favorite, I do training in seniors homes as well. And my most favorite example, and just that the light, like those light bulb moments. I had somebody who was 99 and she picked up her phone that we had downloaded ChatGPT because she had downloaded apps before. And she said this, she's like, can you help me find my handbag, please? That was amazing. I love it. It's that sheer excitement. So bringing fun again, bringing that curiosity, because I really believe when they're laughing, they're learning. I'll snap a photo and what's in your fridge and tell you what to make for dinner or look at my outfit. Tell me if it looks good. Those fun things and just bring that curiosity back. So those are some of the takeaways.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I need to get a moment like that with my mother as well. Be like, all right, mom, come on, let's put it on the phone.
Put it on the phone. Ask, and ask it to speak a really deep Scottish accent. So that's always a fun one too.
And you emphasize in your work that idea of garbage in, garbage out when it comes to AI. And I know that you've talked about prompts, just touching on that just a minute ago. But what do you think are some of the best strategies for people crafting effective prompts, getting that best response?
I think it's really important to start with the building blocks and the basics. And yes, you can prompts on Instagram, or I wouldn't suggest buying people's 1,000 prompts you can purchase anywhere. There's so many free things out there. But I think it's really understanding the basics, because if you understand the basic building blocks, you know how to troubleshoot and you know how where it goes wrong and where to tweak and change it. Prompts have gotten easier, and yes, you can ask a large language model, but understanding the instructions, the context, the tone. So I always say the three main building blocks: the instruction, what do you want it to do, define the need, the context, providing all that background knowledge so it really understands the request, and then you can customize instructions and memory and those sorts of things. And then tone as well. My favorite one is help me create a mission, vision, values in the style of Simon Sinek or Lisa Earl McLeod. Two people I really value of creating the why and mission, vision, values. And then building on those building blocks, but practicing with those first. And then you can add the personas, the goal, the target audience, etc. And I always say a hot tip when I'm talking about prompts: save all of your prompts outside your large language model in a Google document, in a note app, because you just never know when you load that software program if it's going to be around or not, or you're going to lose anything. You can really, if you can start to build these mega prompts, just still, I guess, a term that's around, you just know when it fails. And you can go back and you can say, okay, I need to tweak this, or I need to tweak that. And words matter. Things like extract, digitize, and transcribe all mean different things to AI, and all mean different things to Claude versus Perplexity versus ChatGPT. And then, even though I leverage different AI tools and I focus in large language models, it's just, I'm a terrible writer. Why I love ChatGPT. I do remain software agnostic, but understanding the different tools for your use case, I think, is also important.
And you have a really deep expertise as well in business analysts and analysis and process improvement and operations management. You have all of this experience that you're bringing to the table. So, how can AI help the solo entrepreneur, the small business owner optimize these areas? Because they might not have access to all of that expertise.
And they do, though, have expertise because they're expert in their business. They're expert in running their business in their day to day operations. And with any business process improvement or digital transformation, it's not a one time event, it's ongoing. And I always say, before you can even think digital or think about AI, you need to go and map out your current state. So that is looking at your current operation, and whether this is a $200,000 business or a $30 million business. I've seen it, a $30 million business not even have employment contracts or an onboarding plan or training, but they're just so good at what they do. And I recommend going and conducting a software audit as well. What are you using now? What is your software stack? And then mapping out, I usually say three key workflows. What is your customer journey? What is your people, employee, contractor journey? What is the financial journey? What is your money flow? You can even get, I point over here because I have a flip chart. You can even flip chart it out with sticky notes. You don't have to get into the technology, and then get out of the heads of what's in your head. We always used to say, if you won the lotto and you had to leave your business, could it run without you? If everything was in your head or in the books, like little notebooks of your team, get it out of your head. Create those operation manuals, those policy and procedures and systems for everything. I was first introduced to Michael Gerber and the E-Myth back in business school. And then I had this beautiful opportunity to meet him when he keynoted at our 1-800-GOT Junk conference. And I was just in awe. He was one of my heroes and mentors. Like, we learned about you in school. And I delivered a keynote called Systems Are Sexy to the Women's Entrepreneurship Day organization, and really bringing in this running your business like a franchise concept, and that people don't fail, systems do, and creating a business that can thrive. So again, so once you have all of your systems and your documentation, key documents, because there's a lot to do, your key workflows and your current software audit, then you can see, where is there a business process improvement? Not everything is technical. Maybe you need to restructure something first. Focus on the low hanging fruit, and then start to use AI to create some of these improvement, or even just your personas, your business plans, your operations plans, talking to ChatGPT to get and then say, please create a step-by-step process policy for me. And then I think it's also important in the beginning is to bring your team along to help support the change as well and getting buy-in from your team.
Yeah. And you're giving me so much to think about because I'm even thinking now it's okay. I've been in this entrepreneurial space for a couple years now, and there's so much that already just lives in my head. And the idea of getting that out, getting that articulated, that's a whole undertaking.
It is.
Not to mention the learning of the skills because I'm really AI curious. So, on top of that undertaking, what do you feel are those key AI skills that you really think the solo entrepreneur, the small business leader, what do we need to develop today in order to remain the most productive as possible?
It is over. I have to just talk about the elephant in the room. It's overwhelming right now. You
Mhm.
and I are in a group. She leads AI. I'm also in AI Advantage online group, and I have my local AI group. Every one of us is feeling, oh my gosh, there's another tool. There's like fear of missing out. So I do think pick a tool and become a master at it, or as best as you can, and not be so thrown by all of these other cool tools. I think it's about being curious and being adaptable. And I think back to the Sisu of being resilient and adaptable and this perseverance and staying curious and don't be afraid to experiment. Learn about prompt engineering. I still think this is a core skill, at least for now anyway, to learn the basic and how to talk to this new tool. Not we've never done this before. So how do you talk to this new tool? And really understand the capabilities and limitations as well, because not all tools, it can't do everything right now. It can do some things really well, but not everything. And I think it's really important that we encourage these tools if we have employees as well of embracing change and being flexible. And then, of course, like everything, having backups, making sure that you back up your prompts and making sure that not everything's your operations manual is not just tucked in a custom GPT somewhere and not saved somewhere else. Having those contingency plans, but that curiosity, that adaptability, and that resiliency, because guess what? It's going to change. If you're not good with change right now, you're going to need to be, because that's the only way we're going to be able to move through this is if we embrace change.
I love that you bring that up. Is it's such a it's a soft skill, right? It's the soft skill that we need.
Yes. We need to be ready to pivot too. And yeah, it's not really new in many ways. It's been around for many years, quietly transforming industries. And then November 30th, 2022, everything changed. And the difference now that I think it's just more accessible, and
Mhm.
the AI literacy is really, it is the word essential for professionals across all sectors. And this democratizing, it's no longer just for experts or tech giants. Like you can literally pick up your phone and learn how you want to learn, whatever your learning style is, whatever learning disability you may or may not have. You can use this technology. And I usually speak to the ChatGPT. It's not just about a shift of technology. I really think it's about empowerment, whether you're 9 or 99, like that example I use. So
I absolutely agree with you. I think it has completely democratized our learning at this point. And I've heard that from all age groups. It's been, I learned so much in this moment right now from this tool.
yeah,
And it because you're asking it the question that you care about right now in the moment. And you can build an entire textbook around it if you want to. It's an amazingly democratizing experience once you get comfortable with it.
absolutely. And if you have the internet and these sorts of things, which we know not everybody still has connectivity in the world, but it is still pretty darn cool, scary, overwhelming. But I'm just super excited as to what the next 20 years is going to be like.
And the people that are learning from you right now are lucky to do it because that excitement is palpable. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This has been really nice. And I just really enjoyed getting to know you over the last couple of months. And thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.